This is What It Takes, a show that peers into the minds of groundbreaking innovators. Want to know how they turn big ideas into realities? Keep watching and listening. And as you do, share your questions with hashtag WhatItTakesNU. Classes at Her Boutique Fitness Studios were cruising when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. Then Handlebar founder and Northeastern graduate Jess Fracolosi was forced to backpedal. How would she navigate a new studio opening with at-home workouts booming? Keep watching for her advice to conquer even the steepest inclines. Well, Jess, welcome to What It Takes. We're so thrilled to have you here. We'd love to hear your elevator pitch for Handlebar in 30 seconds or less.
The Handlebar is a place where community and wellness run deep. We focus on improving the lives of our riders through music, movement, and the power of human connection.
What made you interested in overall well-being and fitness and interested in becoming, the operator of a large business?
I think my light bulb moment was more of a distaste for being told what to do. And I had this moment working in a startup where I was like, I can effing do this. And I don't want to work for this person anymore. And so that was kind of my moment where I made the leap of like, I'm just going to try working for myself and think about starting a business. There was also a lot of opportunity involved in that consideration, was seeing what was happening in the fitness marketplace, kind of moving from this big box gym to a more boutique experience in all different formats. I decided that maybe it would be sort of like the frozen yogurt craze, and it would move from the West Coast to New York and then eventually come to Boston. So I got in at a good time, and I was right. We were like the second dedicated cycling studio. The first ones aren't around anymore. So I think we're technically the oldest in Boston. And now there's, 5 brands and 20 studios, 25 studios in the greater Boston area. So pretty competitive here.
Can you speak to a specific challenge, a bump in the road that you've had to overcome that you're particularly proud of and that you have takeaways to use when you confront the next thing?
We've learned so much, but I will use the studio opening as an example that I feel like we're just starting to settle into the changes that have had to take place as a result of this bump in the road, which is the Delta variant.
Yeah.
And because we were really, really starting to see things climb in July. And then the Delta variant came, and obviously I had already signed the lease in Back Bay. And yeah, so what I learned from that was things do not have to go the way that you originally anticipated. As long as you make the pivots with intention, then you can pivot as much as you need to. And I'm going to use Back Bay as an example. We launched with a regular schedule, and it was incredible. It's been incredibly hard to build a community during this time in a new neighborhood. So instead, we're using that space as more of a pop-up space, and we're hosting events, and we're going to be targeting our corporate and our group rides there. And we're really running it much different than the other studios.
A segment that we created especially for you is Backpedal.
Okay.
And it's kind of a cousin of Bump in the Road, but we'd love to hear a situation where you've had to reroute yourself. Have there been times that you've pivoted and you've been able to say, wow, that was the right choice to rethink this?
Yes. And I will say, I think someone told me this, and I think it's very true. Sometimes the best opportunities are the ones that you choose not to take. And that was true. I think we almost expanded it to Providence, Rhode Island, in 2017 and again in 2018. And I was very, very close to signing a lease there. And I just think to myself how different it would have been even pre-pandemic to have to run a satellite location rather than this hub of like sister studios. And what a blessing, just timing wise with COVID, that we didn't do that. But that change allowed me to look more at like, no, we operate as a nucleus, and that's how we need to think about our growth, is mothership in Boston, and how do we kind of either duplicate that or just keep growing from there. So that's one.
Code of Note is a segment where we ask innovators and change makers if there's someone in particular, or something they've said, who inspires them or is a source of motivation for them. So is there a quote that comes to mind for you that really helps to propel you when the road is tough?
Yeah. Yes. And during this time, I've been inspired by like the Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, and like even Aubrey Marcus, I think, is like a modern day Stoic. He's the founder of Onnit. And I can't think of one particular quote from them, but this idea of not needing validation from others to move forward, like really dropping the ego. That's something that's helped me through this time. But also, one comes to mind, Winston Churchill: if you're going through hell, or the only way to get through, what does he say? If you're going through hell, keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, I had that up in the wall, up in the window at North Station for like 8 months. And I would see people looking at it and be like, yes, it's the only
do it. What skills have you picked up along the way that you found the most important, and what would you recommend? Like, how would that translate for other founders, whether they're in this space or not?
I think it's going to be different for every person. It's the things that I think the elements of the business where you can find flow, like you lose yourself in your work and you're also adding value to your business, whatever that is for you, like really make time for that, because that work is what fuels you to do the stuff that's hard and the stuff that you're maybe not getting the reward for, you're not really even that good at, and it's just a get through. You always have the stuff to look forward to that you can find your flow state. And for me, I think it's anything creative, anything where I'm thinking of something new, an event idea, or our offering, or something visual, like working on promotions and graphics and things like that. But different for everybody.
We would be missing an opportunity if we didn't ask you what it takes. So Jess, what does it take to run a business that is scaling up, that started with one location in 2013 and is now a thriving and probably growing enterprise?
Confidence and a commitment to quality, I think. A passion for quality, a passion for doing things the right way. I think that that'll always kind of get you to the other side. Confidence is just critical. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to get inspired by your own ideas, because you're the one driving things forward.
As you meet resistance, remember, it's not always about the routes you do take, and sometimes about those you don't. Thanks to Jess for sharing her story with us. Thanks for tuning in. Share your questions and ideas for future guests with #WhatItTakesNU on all platforms. This is What It Takes.